become real. And the more real it becomes, the more desperate they want it. Capital at its finest. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works. Blood Fox, I look at 100 deals a day. I choose one. Relax now.
First lesson in business, don't get emotional about the stock. Clouds of judgment.
It's all about bucks, kid.
Money never sleeps, pal. Just made 800,000 Hong Kong gold.
Hang on, baby Jesus, this is gonna get bumpy.
Good evening, stock traders, and welcome to Stock Traders Talk Radio here on a quite chilly Monday night, January the 16th, 2012. I'm your host, as usual, STT. Joining me on tonight's program, I have Mr. Cop.
Hey, what's going on, STT? How are you?
I am fantastic tonight, sir. How about yourself?
I'm trying to figure out what cold in Florida actually is.
It's like 60.
Jeez. Are you serious? You joking right now?
No, I'm serious.
It's cold. It's freezing down there.
I gotta move.
I'm serious. I'm sitting here with my sweatshirt on, sweatpants.
That is so sad.
Hey, that's why I moved here. I hate the cold. All right. Also joining us on the program tonight, we have Haas. Haas.
Hey, Mike.
How you doing, sir?
Well, I'm apparently much warmer than you and much colder climate up here in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Nice. Hey.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a hockey player. That's just how my blood works. I'm always warm.
Like I said, I moved to the warmer weather 9 years ago.
Where'd you move from?
Long Island.
Oh.
So, got myself down here, and like I said, when it hits 60, I'm putting on the sweatshirt. Of course, I got to represent, and tonight I'm representing my favorite team in the world, the Yankees.
Oh, God. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say New York Giants. I can deal with the Yankees. I can't deal with the Giants.
No, honestly, I don't own a Giants sweatshirt.
Gotcha. Well, I moved over here from much colder and much more blistery North Dakota, so this is actually a bit more cozy for me than my upbringing.
Nice. Okay. Last night's show, normally we'll review and see how we did, but the market was not open today. So last night's Stock Spotlight was AAVG, and we will see what the results are tomorrow from our picks from last night. I believe, if I remember correctly, everybody was a buy except for one sell for AAVG tomorrow. Is that correct?
Nickel.
Yeah, I think, right, nickel. Nickel had the sell on it. Now, tonight, we have another Stock Spotlight, and I want to remind our listeners that tomorrow night we'll be interviewing Mr. James Scott of Shaka Shoes, ticker symbol SHKZ. That's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, let's move on with the show and go into the little segment we like to call
the Stock Spotlight.
That's correct, the Stock Spotlight.
All right.
And tonight's Stock Spotlight is ticker symbol GMND. Now, as I always try and do, I try and make a nice letter to word ratio. So I'm going to go with G for great, M for magnificent, N for, that's a tough one.
Development.
N for development?
What?
That's the name of the company, Green Mountain Development Corp.
I know, but I'm getting close here. I got N for nice. I'm going to use nice. And D for delicious.
Oh,
there you go. GMND. I broke it down. Last night's was a little better. A little better.
Capo must have ruined it, but it was a good save at the end.
Yeah, I know.
It was.
Development. Jesus.
N for development.
Let's not forget. Who's the North Stars again?
What's that?
The North Stars?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's why we don't have you on the show that often.
You can't answer that, can you?
No.
Minnesota Wild.
Yeah.
That's right.
Minnesota Wild. We're gonna ram that into your head until you can recite that over and over and over on the show.
I appreciate it.
One of these days he'll get it right. Okay, so let's get back on track. Again, tonight's Stock Spotlight is GMND. And joining us, we have a special guest to talk about GMND. He is considered a long holder, and he wanted us to tell you that he does post on iHub. Welcome to the radio show, Mike.
Welcome, guys. It's quite cold up here in Boston, so I commiserate with anyone who lives in North Dakota or Wisconsin, and I'm jealous of anyone who lives in Florida, I guess.
Okay. All right, so let's get started with GMND. I think Mike will give you the opportunity to discuss the company a little bit first, and then we'll move on from there.
All right, guys. GMND's name is Green Mountain Development Corporation. And I became interested in this company because I'm an engineering consultant, and so I check on many different types of companies in the engineering business, particularly petroleum engineer in the East Coast. And this came across my desk several months ago. I saw that the company had an initial strategy for probably being an incubator, an environmental technology incubator, and they would basically acquire promising green tech companies. The president would apply probably administrative management, some capital funding services to these companies. I guess the strategy at that time was to eventually sell them off or maybe to spin them off as a public company. As I kept on reading about the company, back in May and June of 2011, I saw that they owned a company called Biocon Microbes, and I looked into that arena. It wasn't my specialty being petroleum engineering. Biocon Microbes is an agricultural products company that has proprietary microbial soil amendment products. And these products are used for agricultural soil enhancement. I also began to study what the company's products were doing, and I realized that they could be used for petroleum cleanup of spills like the one we just had in the Gulf. So I looked at the company at that point forward, tried to find out what angle it would take, or strategy it would take, going further into the petroleum area, not just microbial sales for soil enhancement, which I knew that they would be successful once they put their efforts out. And I saw, as you guys have seen the chart, it's progressed dramatically from last July until now. Now, what happened basically through the news releases and the filings, you'll read that Robert Brem, the CEO of this company, aggressively went forward with a strategy, and this only happened since last July, by doing several things that are essential to the growth of any company, especially this one. First, he added new management with a guy named Mr. Kantonakolas. I'll get to that in a minute. And second, he added a tremendous amount of transparency by filing all of the filings that were outstanding. First of all, you should know that the float is 39 million shares, and the outstanding is 104 million shares. Okay, let's get back to management. He added this guy, Nick Kantonakolas, of a company called C-Trade. That individual has brought a tremendous amount to this company in the form of being able to promote microbial products, as well as having a tremendous amount of experience and connections as well in water treatment as well as energy sectors. I'll talk about water treatment and the energy sector progress this company has had in a moment. Let me go on to the other thing I mentioned, and that was the bringing up the financials over the last few years. If you look at the company, you'll see that not only did they bring up all their financials to date, they also filed a supplemental disclosure statement. And 2 weeks ago, due to these efforts, GMND removed their stop sign, which is a no information sign on the pink sheets, and they upgraded to the next tier, which is limited information. That's very important as far as transparency goes. Now, the CEO, Mr. Brem, has had these products for a while, but now he's aggressively marketing them, and I believe with the assistance of Mr. Quintana-Collis, they're going to be very successful. They've just shipped products to Mexico. I hear that they're shipping products in other places as well. I'm sure news releases will come out very shortly on that. Everybody should go to the website, which is greenbusiness.com. That's green, Green business, B-I-Z-N-E-S-S, not B-I-S, B-I-Z-N-E-S-S.com. And you'll find, you'll start reading about the science of microbes. It's complex, of course. And where these products can be used, like I said before, it's not just soil enhancement, but potentially could also be used for cleaning up of petroleum spills. You could also go to pinksheets.com, and you'll see links to the financials, and you could see the financials there as well. So we'll go back to the original concept that Mr. Brem had, and he still does, and that's what he calls a 60-40 deal, where he controls, basically, after a while, 60% of the company for the future potential of selling it or spinning it off, and he provides financial support as well as management, marketing, and several other items. And this has worked very well. This type of model has worked very well for a lot of JV deals that I've looked at. But my particular interest was the last two energy deals that he did very recently. And this is, in my opinion, going to dramatically change the face of this company. The last two deals, which have been reported in news releases, were the Beach Haven Oil Terminal, and that's in Pennsylvania, and one called Bayside Oil. Let me talk about Beach Haven first. Beach Haven is in the Beach Haven deal is very evident in the news releases, but it's also in the latest annual report that came out 2 weeks ago, right before they had their tier upgrade. This terminal is a 5-tank facility, has about 2.5 million gallon capacity for liquids, petroleum, water, whatever. It sits on the Sunoco Eastern Seaboard Pipeline that was once very active, and it was a hub on this 1,300-mile-long pipeline system. Okay? So when they reactivate that pipeline again, that facility is going to be a major facility again. We'll get to that in a moment. Where's the facility? The facility is about 20 miles west of Wilkes-Barre, and it sits on the Susquehanna River. It adjoins the Susquehanna River, right next to it. What they're doing at that facility right now, I am very aware of because I'm in the engineering business. They are doing a lot of engineering tests as well as maintenance, and in my opinion, this facility shortly is going to become a water treatment center. Of course, there's a lot of work to be done there. The perfect partner would be a company like GMND, not just because they started from a concept of microbial products that could be used to clean up or remediate petroleum spills, but also because they have knowledge of engineering and facilities of this type. The latest news release basically was that GMND did an extensive assessment report at this facility, and they suggested that biofuel or biodiesel and or a water treatment center would be the best way for it to go. Now, what is water treatment and what is the value to GMND? The bottom line is that everyone has heard of the Marcellus Shale. That is the biggest find outside of, North Dakota, with all the oil trucks over there trying to pump oil out. And basically, the Marcellus Shale is in every newspaper in the world, almost on a daily basis. It is a massive natural gas find. The biggest player in Pennsylvania being Chesapeake Energy. Recently went on Mad Money with Jim Craner, and I think it was the CEO, and he said that he's going from a few hundred wells to 20,000 wells, and he's getting the permits too over the next couple of years. So there's a massive boom here. There is a tremendous need for water treatment, and not only is there a tremendous need for it, but there's a demand for it, because the regulations, if anybody reads about what's going on in upstate New York, you'll see that they don't want it here, although the governor and many others do, because of the job situation. In Pennsylvania, they're promoting it heavily. As long as the regulations, meaning clean water, the water frack will not disturb the water system there, can be protected. Now, that means that service industries like this facility, when it turns into a water treatment center, will make millions of dollars in net profit. GMND has a deal with them, and they're going to have some kind of joint venture announcement in the future, but so far we've only learned about the assessment that they've done there. So we need to stay tuned for future news releases on that particular industry. The other story very recently came out, and it's basically called Bayside Oil. Bayside Oil is a publicly traded company under the symbol BYSD, and GMND has gone into a deal with them. They have not extended too much information yet, but they will. And I just looked at the website today. They updated it, and they said stay tuned for the new information on Bayside, as opposed to the news release that just came out the other day, in that they're jointly developing several oil wells down in Texas. So there's a tremendous amount of revenue stream that will come in three different directions, not to mention what the CEO of this company has intentions for the future, which will probably be more energy projects, more joint ventures, and things of that nature. So the last several months, this company has dramatically changed. In my opinion, it's dramatically reawakened and gone in the direction it should have gone years earlier. But we now have an opportunity to buy in my opinion, at cheap prices, and that's all we're here for, to find out where the company is, where the price is, where the valuations are, and where the future can be. This guy's got a very clear vision for his company's future. And Brem is working, like I said, on many other deals. I'm excited about this company, as you can see. And I'm following this company in my engineering circles, and I realized that they lucked into three good projects right now. One that they've had for years, but only now aggressively marketing. And, of course, they have new management helping them with that, who is very successful. And the other two deals, I find they're in the perfect situation. One being, of course, a Texas oil deal. Can't go wrong there if you know what you're doing. And the other one being, of course, the Marcellus Shale area, and this facility being an opportune situation for them at the right time. And that's it. That's the story of GMND for me.
Mike, I got to play devil's advocate to a certain degree, and we got to really, when we do these DD sessions, we talk about the company, what they do, what they say they're going to do, which you covered very good. That was really, really pretty thorough. This is GMND. And then we go through the history. I mean, the one thing about a lot of the companies is, we look for tomorrow, we look for the short term, we look for the long term. And clearly and mostly everything that you're describing is the long-term possibilities with the Marcellus shales and the different things that are with Bayside. Now, the couple things I want to kind of drill down to is, believe it or not, coincidence that years ago, I don't remember how many years ago, 2 probably, myself and STT used to do interviews on another company that we had. And we actually interviewed Mr. Brennan when he, as the CEO of Bugs. Is that right? STT? Yes. And to where, great guy. I mean, I think he had like 2 degrees. I mean, just electrical engineering, all kinds of stuff. I mean, very articulate, smart guy. So clearly he's ambitious and keeps driving forward to make things happen. There's no doubt about that. But the reality to it is, up to a certain degree, from a shareholder perspective, he's ran into a couple of roadblocks when it comes to some of these companies. And where I find it unique is, so what you're telling us is you believe the page is turned.
Yes.
Finally, everything's lined up to where he can go. An actual viable business, vice a hope and a dream. I mean, is that what you're telling us, or what you think?
He's reawakened the company, but there's a little luck in life too. I mean, he not only did he reawaken the company, but he looked at a strategy again, which is still valid today. The JV 60/40 deal, trying to fund another company, help another company, and let that company make it on its own, and you get a percentage of the action. Those deals always work, but you can't do it all yourself. And I think he realized that, in my opinion, and that's why he joined forces with Mr. Contonocolis, and that's why he expanded his arena from just microbial products into energy deals as well. Of course, the luck is not just having a great businessman like Mr. Contonocolis, but also by being in the right place at the right time, and you can't create that. Sometimes it has to be created for you. The Marcellus Shale has only been around a few years, just like North Dakota oil wells have only been around for a couple of years in its massive expansion. People knew about it for many years, but didn't realize the extent of it. People knew about natural gas in Pennsylvania several years ago. Up until a couple of years ago, they didn't realize the extent of the megatrillion cubic feet that's underneath that geology. So whoever jumped in first, whoever tried to make deals first, like, for instance, Chesapeake Energy, when they went out and bought thousands and thousands and thousands of acres, they didn't even have enough money to do it. They had to go overseas to do a joint venture with Hydrostat Oil to literally buy out almost all the entire state's mineral rights. They obviously are going to be a major company. I'm not trying to promote Chesapeake Energy. I'm just trying to say anyone who services that industry, such as water treatment, especially since it's in the news today, is going to make a lot of money. And I think that Brem's new direction in expansion and ideas is formulated from his initial strategy, which is solid and sound, and he's just expanding in the right area. Energy is not really a completely different area from microbial technology. Microbial technology initially, at least from where he came from, was related to soil enhancement, but it's also related to petroleum spills. And petroleum spills, there you go, is related to petroleum. So he branched out in the right direction. Yes, it is a new company, absolutely, and I think the stock reflects that, especially since he is consistent in coming out with news, and he's consistent in coming out with new deals. And I expect that to definitely continue.
Makes sense. Okay, BYSD. Let's go there. All right. Another public company, and you just said something. I was going to kind of be very negative on BYSD, and you said something that kind of made me cut back a little bit. Mm-hmm. And the fact that economy-wise and the things that have been going on for the last 5 years, it's only recently that a lot of these discoveries have been happening to the point where they're actually able to get to these opportunities. So, I'll go from there and chalk that up to hard times. Mm-hmm. I'm just struggling understanding what BYSD does for them.
Well, I'm not trying to promote BYSD, and nor do I know that much about them, but I can tell you that BYSD owns several wells, and many of these wells are not operational. They have oil underneath them, but they just have a limited amount of money in that company. It's been pretty dormant themselves, with a few million shares in the entire company and limited capital. What Green Mountain GMND is doing is they went down there and they are reinvigorating this company themselves. Instead of creating and starting a new company to drill gas wells or oil wells, they're going into companies that are somewhat dormant, have very little working or modest working capital, or enough working capital just for a handful of wells, and making deals on the wells that are not producing right now. So I think they just went down there, made a very slick JV deal, and we'll find out what it is. From what I can imagine, it'll bring millions of dollars in revenues to the company on a JV basis, of course.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Let's go to the share structure. What do we got for share structure?
We're talking about 104 million shares outstanding and 39 million shares in the float. Much of the float, from what I understand, is tightly held. I don't know what exactly that means. I hear all kinds of numbers, half the float, a third of the float. But let's just say it's 39 million shares in the float. And you're talking about a 2-cent stock, approximately. Obviously, when nothing happens in a company, or when things are very quiet, you can have 5 million shares of a quarter of a penny. Nothing's going to happen. When a lot of things are happening in a company, and you have 15 billion shares at a nickel, you got to be careful. So there's always a give and take on where the company can go, how fast it can go up, or where I see this company going. I think at 39 million shares at a couple of penny stock, with where this company has come from, where it is now, where it's going to go in the near future, is a conservative. And I don't use that too often with a pink sheet stock, and I don't think it's going to be a pink sheet stock for too long. That's my personal opinion.
Sure. So you believe that from a fundamental analysis point that they're not making revenues now, but they're going to be making them here very soon. That's
yes, they're going to
large
be making
amounts.
They're going to be making revenues this quarter. They're shipping products already, microbial products already, and I am fairly certain that the company will see substantial revenues this year, both in the microbial products as well as the 2 engineer deals that we know already. Not to mention what else.
I mean, that's always the, when you go through the phases or the progress of a business plan and those type of things, that's always the hardest part from an investment standpoint, right? Meaning because you utilize financials to make competent decisions on, the valuation of a company.
Right.
And, when you have this situation, clearly at the price it would be if those revenues are generated, it's undervalued. There's no doubt about that. It's just that phase from where it came from to getting to that point to where they send out the next quarter financials of what they're doing. I mean, that's
they've
pretty much
they've already mentioned that they are shipped for this quarter. They didn't mention how much, but they've already mentioned that they've shipped products overseas. So in my opinion, that means what? It means that revenues have started. Of course, they're not going to mention, they're very careful now that they're transparent in their filings to talk about how much those revenues projections are. I don't think they want to do any projections. So many other companies say we're going to do 50 million, 20 million, 10 million. This company is now coming to its own. It's now shipping products, knows it's going to have serious revenues. It's going to just come out with news. Get as much information to people as possible through not just news releases but through its website. And in a few months from now, when the quarterly comes out, people are going to start seeing revenues. Microbial products have a high gross margin. The gross margin to these energy deals, we'll have to look at the next financials and see what happens over there. And don't forget, there'll be JV deals
the key,
as well.
Right?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm looking forward to many more deals, but I'm also more looking for the revenue numbers. I think whatever revenues come out, it's going to, like before, just like a tier upgrade, you never had one before. When you start seeing revenues, even if they're very modest, there's going to be in my opinion, a major move on the stock on the upside, because finally the company has revenues. Then they're going to wait for the dramatic increase in revenues based upon what's happening in those regions.
No, I'm with you, and I agree completely on what you're saying. If you're gonna try to achieve massive gains, you want to get in early from what it is. It's just one of those things where, because it's all new, you don't know whether they're going to be drilling, 10 wells, 50 wells, or 100 wells. So as time goes on, as that revenue is generated, it's very difficult to forecast when you don't know what the quantity is going to be. Right?
That's right.
I mean. So that's where the difficulty comes into this. So, you got the high risk going in, but with potential huge returns from that, and then as revenues are generated, that risk diminishes. I mean, that's where you're at.
My analysis of this company financially is basically, I know there's going to be substantial revenues this year. I just don't know how much. And so if I knew how much, I'd be buying. I'd be attempting to buy a lot more shares. But you can only buy as much as you
shares,
can buy.
probably, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. All I could say is I wish I had more shares, but that's the way it is.
Oh yeah. Just out of curiosity, one thing I like when people are long in a stock, you could tell the passion that they get with it. In most cases, they represent the company better than some of the company people themselves, and it's just the way it is. But have you done any site visits or plan to or anything like that?
Yes, I have. In my work, I travel between Boston and Chicago, and often I take Route 80. Okay, that's the simplest way. Off Route 80 a few miles off Route 80 is where the Beach Haven Oil Terminal is located. I've been there, and I've taken pictures, and I've looked at the progress of the company many months ago, and I've traveled to Chicago again recently, and I stopped by and took a little side visit, and I looked at what was going on. They're doing engineering over there, and they're doing maintenance work, and of course I couldn't get any more information. Nobody is going to give it to me, but I could see that obviously this place was very quiet for a while, and needed a paint job, and it needed little touches, a lot of touch-ups here and there. But nobody just takes a facility like that and starts doing engineering work out of the blue unless something's about to happen. It's the same thing with oil wells. Nobody just sticks in a drill down the road unless they've done some prep planning and they have anticipated something happening in the future, and that's what's happening over here. So I think the GMND, I know GMND has been there many times. There was a sign on the gate recently that they were doing some kind of work, engineering work, for compliance purposes probably.
You didn't jump the gate, did you?
I didn't jump the gate, couldn't jump the gate. It's very high, and it's very well protected. So, but it's an interesting location. It's strategically located. I guess it's about 6 acres of land. It has massive tanks. These tanks hold 1 million gallons of fuel. Can hold, of course. And obviously, if they're getting into water remediation, they're going to be holding tanks for water that they clean the frack that comes out of, which is also known as backflow, that comes out of hydraulic fracking wells that are what the debate in this country is all about right now. I don't think there's any debate, certainly not in Pennsylvania, where they're giving out thousands and thousands of permits, and where that state's unemployment, now I'm promoting hydraulic fracking, that state's unemployment has gone down and will go down dramatically, the unemployment, due to that industry. And I think other states have wised up to it. As long as the regulations are there, which can only benefit GMND, you know that the regulations kick in when something becomes exciting, and nobody's going to let 20,000 Chesapeake Energy drills go without having 10,000 DEP inspectors or God knows what at the site here and there. They're going to want that water frack treated, and basically that's what this facility may turn into. I believe they may also do some biofuel business as well there. It's a massive site, and we'll see.
I recommend you start updating your resume.
My resume?
Yeah, no
well,
doubt.
I'm fine. I consult petroleum companies. I may say larger than GMND. I'm not saying that GMND is a recognized petroleum company yet, but hopefully one day they will be. When I say recognized, I mean substantially higher than limited tier even, and I anticipate they will be.
No, that's great. No, Mike, you did a fantastic job. I mean, that's pretty thorough BD. From that aspect, let's go to the chart real quick. Who's doing that?
You are, sir.
You're our new
you
chart
won the
guy.
coin toss again tonight.
All right, beautiful.
You're our new chart guy.
All right, that's easy day. All right, so here's what we're looking at. Beautiful. Good stuff. Green Mountain Development Corp. That's a strong uptrend you got there, Mike.
Yeah.
It's a good channel as well. So
yeah, that Well, I mean, the key thing is, I'm going to pull it out. I'm pulling out to the monthly, and we're going to go all the way out to actually August. As you can see that, it was down probably at the point in the 80th tenths of a penny, but there wasn't much volume, and it was always slow volume. And then right in that November 7th, 14th area, a lot of volume started coming in. I guess that's when the Marcellus Clay shales is when that PR came out.
Yeah, they started to talk about an assessment a few months earlier, but then they finalized that, and then they basically made it known thereafter. But there was also several different news items that were posted on the website itself. So it's not just a news release, but the consistent updating of their website that has brought new investors.
Nope, makes sense, because that's where you get there's about 150% increase in price per share right there. Traded like that for like about 4 days, peaked out right around the little above the 3 cents, and then started a slow decline, but not much. Furthest it got down was 0.012, and then it started tearing back up on an uptrend. So you're right, it's in a decent channel from the 2 to 3. It looks like back and forth. What's your average anyway? Just out of curiosity.
My
you don't
average
have to answer me if you don't want.
My average is a penny. I started buying
Penny?
at a half a penny, modest amount, 3/4 of a penny, and I'm buying more. My average is going to be a little higher. Hopefully, I can accumulate a little more, but it's a penny. Yeah.
No, that's good. The one thing that I don't like about the chart, I like the uptrend, I like how that's all working, is I don't like the volume. I mean, what's your average volume that you've been seeing?
I've seen 750, not average. I've seen a 750,000 share day, and I've seen days it didn't trade. But recently, like Friday, it traded 82,000 shares, and I believe that the volume is going to kick in a bit. When you talk about 39 million shares in a float, and assuming a half of it is tightly held, you're dealing with 20 million shares. A lot of these people are flippers. A lot of these people see a penny and they get out at a penny and a half, and you'll see that on the chart. You'll see that there's an accumulation phase. Every time it goes up, it stops for a while, more accumulation, and the flippers get out, and a healthier chart is shown. So although my average price may be a penny, the average price out there, I'm not sure. It could be a penny and a half for the average of those 20 million shares. I think there's a lot of long-term players that are starting to get in. Now, there's something healthy about that and something risky about that. If everyone is a long-term buyer, then the stock can go to $1 tomorrow when the market opens because nobody wants to sell. If everyone believes even somewhat of what I just said, then they're going to hold it. The reality is that that it's healthy to have a lot of flippers there, and that's where the accumulation or the step-up accumulation comes from.
Absolutely. Well, what I'm seeing right now, I'm definitely seeing a little bit of sideways action for until you're going to get news. That's what I would from a trader perspective. And if I wanted to flip it, I'd flip it. But the BYSD trip that they made and those type of things down the Bayshore and all that, I would expect them coming back with a press release and giving some advance, and then whatever the key developments are happening over the course of the next month. So realistically, channel trading sideways, probably a pop on news, starting in new higher high, new higher low, based off your trend that you're seeing right there. As long as the share structure stays the same, I think you're in great shape.
Good.
But that's all I got, guys. I mean, anything else?
I think you guys covered it pretty well.
Yeah. Yep. I would say so.
All right, Mike. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day and coming on here. You represented the company very, very, very well. You definitely knew your stuff.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Mike, thanks. Take care.
Good
luck.
Thanks.
Okay, guys. It is time for buy, sell, or hold for GMND. Let's see here. I believe I started with Haas last night. So, to be fair, I'll start with Haas again. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only teasing with you, my friend.
I'll go first. I don't mind.
No. I was only kidding. Cop.
Okay. there's only because we do this on a daily. I'm going to have to agree with Mike a little bit on what he's saying. If any of that stuff comes to fruition, you're going to see it slowly, increase in price. I mean, it's all based off revenues. Right now, they're not making any money. So there's no, unless they, a big PR came out or something like that tomorrow, I don't anticipate the pop. So, I'm going to say it's going to trade sideways. What I don't like is I don't like the paint at the end of the day on Friday. So I'm going to say just tomorrow, I'm going to call it a sell, but a short-term, long-term buy.
Okay. Haas, you're up, sir.
Yeah, I think it's kind of difficult for people to understand some of these oil and gas companies. And I'm not all that familiar with oil and gas. I'm more familiar in the mining industry and how mining companies, develop over time. Issuing different types of preferred shares and things like that, and, how they raise their funds. I mean, basically, you find the oil, you have to figure out a way to get it out of the ground in a profitable way. And, you're going to have to raise funding to do that. And same with mining. You find gold, you're sitting on gold, but if you can't get it out of the ground profitably, there's no one that's going to invest in it.
Right.
Which is key for, Green Mountain Development Corp teaming up with Seatrade Group, because Seatrade Group has connections all over the world and resources all over the world to be able to, analyze these different projects and, help GMND get this stuff out of the ground in a profitable way through various joint venture agreements. Long term, I like it, especially through the course of 2012. I think we're going to see, a lot of updates and some development on these projects. Even with the kind of ugly-looking balance sheet at the moment, revenue should start coming in from some of these Biocon micro products. But for tomorrow, I'm going to call it a hold. Going risky.
Ooh.
Going risky. Hey, you said buy last night, Kyle?
Yes, I did
buy.
Last night.
Well, we might just separate once again, my friend.
Man, Haas, you stole my thunder there.
It's extremely hard. I mean, it's very hard to pick just the following day.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yep.
Yep. I have to say, I was going to say hold. But man, with that float and everything, man, I think it probably moves on air, huh?
You're going to say 5? That's risky, Mike.
I'm going to
would all three be different.
I'm going to go because his name is Mike, even though he's from Boston. I'll cut him some slack there. But his name is Mike, acquires my name. I'm going to root for him, and I'm going to say tomorrow is a buy.
Wow.
The board we're all over the place.
No, I don't think this has ever happened before.
It hasn't.
Especially with 3 people on the show.
Now, the way I look at it is okay, I'm trailing you 2 for the year so far by 1, and then I've trailed Cop by 2, I trail Haas by 1. And then everybody else on our team is a little bit lower. So it's a long year. I got a lot of time to make it up. And I believe that we'll see a little green tomorrow.
Okay.
For GMND.
Well, we're all going to be rooting against each other tomorrow. This should be interesting.
Should be fun. Should be a lot of fun. Don't forget we got our EAVG pick tomorrow playing also. All right, guys. Fantastic job again by Mike. I want to thank him for coming on the radio show with us tonight. We're going to take a small commercial break, and we'll be back after these words with our stocks in focus.
Stock traders, sound the charge and scale your way over to BlueHorseshoeStocks.com. Nowhere else will you find a simpler, more straightforward penny stock block, bounce play, momentum alert, short term, long term. It's all here. Get hits and ground floor opportunities before the promotion hit. Blue Horseshoe's track record speaks for itself with percentage gains numbering in the thousands. Sign up for our free market mailing list and receive picks before they're published. Welcome to Blue Horseshoe Stocks, where you're afforded the opportunity to observe a team of seasoned traders scrape and scour the market for every sub-penny, penny, and penny plus stock with a chance to blow it pop. BlueHorseshoeStocks.com.
Don't get lost in the crowd. Stock Traders Tweets is dedicated to stock traders. When you tweet here, you know that 100% of the people seeing your tweets are stock traders. With multiple tools such as linking your Twitter/Facebook accounts to feeding your favorite boards from iHub into stock traders' tweets. This is truly your one-stop website to maximizing your social networking visibility. Join us today at www.stocktraderstweets.com. Welcome back to Stock Traders Talk Radio. I'm your host, STT. Joining me on the program tonight is Cop and Haas. We got a small team out here tonight for some reason. It is a holiday, so we gave the crew the night off.
I think it's a dream team.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay, fantastic. Now, for those that missed any portion of tonight's show, you'll be able to listen to it in its entirety on either YouTube, Investors Hub, or StockTradersTalk.com. One of those three places you can listen to it in video format. Now, I do feel, I was thinking about this during the commercials, and I feel a little bad for Mike because he covered so much. What is he going to put on the boards for the next few days?
No, that was pretty good. That was pretty damn good.
He almost has to take a little hiatus almost. And just what he should do, and what he should do is he gets on the board and says, "You want my opinion? Listen to the show."
You know what's funny about that? We've been doing this for so long. You've heard all about the crazy longs that just show up at a place that doesn't really actually have a business, and they're going through the mail, peeking in the windows, all kinds of crazy stuff in the OTC. It's always amazing that there's always somebody that will go out to the sites, and it's nice to hear about somebody making a trip to one of the sites and stuff's actually going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Hopping oil field fences and staring down the oil wells. Hey, what are you doing over there? No, that's good that he does that, though. I mean, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got your money in it. If you're there, might as well check it out, right?
I've been in a few different mining companies where I had buddies go do that, so I know the feeling.
A few times.
Yeah.
A few times.
Yeah. I mean, we've all seen the posts where the people Google it and map it and winds up being a 2-bedroom condo somewhere or something like that, so might as well go check out your investment. Okay, guys, you ready for our next segment? Is everybody ready?
Which is?
Yes.
Stocks in Focus.
Okay.
Stocks in Focus.
Stocks in Focus. Now, last night's show, Cop delayed giving us anything. And so he said he'll share it with us tonight. So, Mr. Cop, tell us what you're looking at for this week.
All right, here's my first play. LYJN, Lyric. You guys ever hear that one?
Yes.
Okay. Lyric is all over the place on the boards. I mean, everywhere you go, you're seeing it someplace. All right, so I definitely think you're going to get a pop out of that. It didn't trade very much on Friday, and it's in Lyric Jeans rather is in that in between the 65 and the 70 range, 0.0065, 0.0070. And, now you have this huge buzz. You got a lot of big players on the stock. So, I expect a big pop-up. I don't know. I know it's under promotion, so expect some shares coming to the market. But, bottom line is I think you're going to be over a penny. Whether it stays there or not, who knows. But, it's definitely a volatile trading opportunity to grab some gains. The next one I have is UFFC. You guys ever heard of that one?
I haven't, no.
I have.
U Food Restaurant Group, okay? Basically, same situation where there's a bunch of people on this one. I mean, probably just as much as the other one. Whereas on Friday it traded even, right? But it had the 168,000 shares, and it went from 8 cents down to 7 cents, pop back up, pop back down, pop back up, and then staircase. And one key thing I like about the staircase is when they do that, that means they're getting ready to push it again. So I'm looking for about, I would expect at least 30, 40% on that one out of the gate. So stay tuned with that. The third one I got 4 for you, by the way, is ICPA. You guys remember this one?
IC Places.
IC Places. Love this stock. Always had. I don't know why. The CEO is a guy named Steve Samblis, pretty much a rock star. Has a lot of ideas and a lot of different things, and does things with movie stars and all that other type of stuff. But pull up this chart. Look what they did from 12:30 up until close. They brought that thing from 0.0013 or 14, drove it all the way up to 0.0025 on a Friday before a 3-day weekend. So where do you think that thing's going to go? I think you're going to have potentially a gap up, a slide, pull back, right, the shake, and then up until about 30 to 40. Yeah, I'd call it 0.0032 is where I'm looking at. So potentially you're going to be able to get some gains, but this thing's been trading pretty good over the course of the last few weeks. And my fourth one, and I'm not going to say last night's play because that wouldn't be right of me to do, is GYST, Greystone Company, which is another decent company that's doing a lot of things. But it had very, very low volume on Friday. Now, there was a lot of buzz on this going into Friday, which kind of shocked me. I thought for sure there would have been a whole lot more shares on it. And this is a little higher stock, trading at 28 cents. But I think somebody has to come to the plate tomorrow and say, okay, I got to fix what happened on Friday. So I expect some gains there. That's where I'm at.
Very nice, very nice. See, that Lyrical Genes, that thing is everybody involved in that one?
I don't know. Everywhere you look, there's people on it. A lot of promoters, a lot of So I don't know what the budget is, but I expect that to drive up.
Well, it's
disclaimer. It's on big promo.
It's sitting at a quad right now, right? 00 something.
Right.
And that's been as high as what? 7 cents maybe? Or even
yeah,
higher?
I think it was way back.
Yeah, I know it had a big run in it not too long ago.
It's had a lot of different promo campaigns. I know that. Got to be careful with it.
Oh, just like any other.
Yeah, but most of those have been they've separated them out pretty good though. I mean, the 4 or 5 months, it hasn't been like do one this month and do another one 2 months later, and so clearly they got to be using the money for the right good or living off the money. I don't. I know it does jeans and a whole bunch of apparel and all kinds of stuff like that. So they actually have and I believe that if I remember correctly, what the hell's her name? Hannah something. I don't remember exactly, but the she was some movie star or something like that.
Hannah Montana?
No, not Hannah Montana.
I thought you were talking about Hannah Montana, for God's sake. I was like, Hold on. Let me find this out here. I thought his daughter was running up to him and letting him know or something.
We'd have to end the show if we went that route.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll find out for you so that way we can figure it out.
I was about to unplug myself. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, I have a button I could hit just to end the radio show. Is he finding out right now, or are we waiting till...
I'm looking for it. No, keep talking.
Oh, okay. I didn't know... I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know if you were an hour.
We weren't sure if you were pulling up pictures of Hannah Montana for us or what you were doing. So.
All right, while we wait for him, let's see what Haas is looking at for the week. Haas, hit us.
Well, considering we didn't trade today, I am going to re-mention a couple that I mentioned last night, one of them being STEV, Stevia Corp. They, market the sugar substitute, all natural, and basically they've been having, several $1 million in buying volume over the last week or 2 weeks here, and increasing volume every day, and the share price just took a huge hike, and I'm interested to see how high it's going to go. But I've seen hard mailers on that in the past, and I'm sure they'll continue to do it into the near term here. So we'll see if that volume continues to come in this week. And the second one that I mentioned last night was ADLI, American Medical Techs. They just, filed their initial disclosure, getting current on over-the-counter pinks. So I'm expecting some more news coming in the near future there, and the float's really nice there. And it took a nice, over 100% price hike on about $10,000 in buying volume on Friday. Nice. So also keeping an eye on that one, which I think you should too, considering it starts with an A.
I'll be there with you. I'll watch it. Keep an eye on it. All right.
I got the name.
What do you got?
Kind of died out.
It's Hannah Rochelle.
What?
Hannah Rochelle.
Hannah Rochelle. That's LYJN of lyrics.
Okay.
And by the way, before I forget, we got to give a shout out to Sonny and his boys across the pond. So, Sonny, keep safe and all whatever the hell it is you do out there. Don't be messing anything up.
Where's he at?
Sonny never says where he goes.
He never does.
The way it works for Sonny is he may give you a time, so you know the latitude or longitude of where he is in some place in the world.
He'll just be talking to him.
Yeah, and he might drop you a little hint like, I'm having espresso or Americana coffee, or that's about as far as you're going to get,
That's exactly how it goes. All of a sudden you'll see like a high. It'll be like midday here, and it'll be like, oh, it's like 4 a.m. here. I'll be like, what? Where are you at?
Full screen.
You were just down east.
It's like, dude, we're not going to carry on the conversation. Are you serious? You want to talk stocks? It's 3 a.m., man.
Exactly. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, Dino. Just the one word, Dino. He's drinking wine. Oh, it's so funny. I love Sonny. He's awesome.
Great. Be safe out there, Sonny. Back to the show. Sorry.
Oh, that's quite all right. Well, since we ran a little long tonight on the Stock Spotlight, we're going to miss Cop's Corner.
Oh.
We're going to have to skip it tonight.
I'm sad. I'm going to put a teary face on Skype right now.
Cop, you okay with that? You could say it for tomorrow night, right?
I can live with it.
Yeah?
Yep.
Did you have something good planned?
No. I always do, but I could talk about this stuff for days and days and days. I love this stuff.
You only got 2 minutes left, though.
You're good at it, Cap. Was I breaking out before on my stock
you sound great. Is that a new mic?
No, this is actually, these are my headphones here, but I was like going on to a third stock, and then you came in and started talking about Hannah Montana again. I thought I broke out.
Oh, do you want to get your third stock? Good. Say it out there.
Go ahead, Hoss. Sorry.
No, I was just going to mention that I've mentioned this stock a few times. Aqualad Technologies, ticker AQLV. It had some major volume, broke that penny mark, and it's kind of dipped over the last few days on some slightly lighter volume. Still some pretty decent volume coming into the stock, though, close to $100,000 a day. So now it's kind of dipped and retraced. Seen some higher accumulation, so I kind of want to see some increasing volume again and, break into new highs here.
Okay. Terrific. Guys, tomorrow night, just a reminder, CEO interview with Mr. James Scott of Shaka Shoes, ticker symbol SHKZ.
Not Shaka Shoes anymore.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow, hopefully. Also, upcoming on the radio show, another Stock Spotlight Wednesday and a CEO interview on Thursday. Or did I get that reversed? Is it Wednesday and then Thursday? I think the CEO interview is Thursday.
Nice.
Check our iHub board. You'll find it there. I forget what it was. All right. From all of us here to all of you out there, have a good night and good luck trading tomorrow. This is STT Radio, and we are out.
Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. All views and topics talked about on Stock Traders Talk Radio is solely for entertainment purposes. We are not professional financial advisors and always recommend you seek the advice of a professional financial advisor. Never invest in any stock featured on our show unless you can afford to lose your entire investment. The information contained on our show is based on sources which we believe to be reliable, but is not guaranteed by us as being accurate, and might not be a complete statement or summary of the available data. Stock Traders Talk Radio advises that the investments in companies profiled are commonly considered to be high risk, and use of the information provided is at the investor's sole risk.